Rice plant cropping systems. Definition. A cropping system refers to the type and sequence of crops grown and management practices used on a given agricultural field over a period of time. Rice plant cropping pattern. Definition. Cropping pattern is the yearly sequence and spatial arrangement of crops or crops and fallow on a particular piece of land. Rice plant intercropping. Definition. Intercropping is the simultaneous cultivation of two or more crops on the same field, with a definite row or spatial arrangement. Rice plant relay cropping. Definition. Relay cropping is a cropping system where the second crop is sown before the first crop is harvested, allowing both crops to grow simultaneously for a period. Rice plant sequential cropping. Definition. Sequential cropping is the cultivation of two or more crops in sequence on the same field within 1 year, with the harvest of one crop followed by the sowing of the next. Rice plant mixed cropping. Definition. Mixed cropping is the practice of growing two or more crops together on the same land without any distinct row arrangement. Rice plant crop rotation. Definition. Crop rotation is the practice of growing different types of crops in a recurring sequence on the same field across seasons or years to maintain soil fertility and reduce pest disease buildup. Crop planning and raising of field crops in multiple cropping systems. Aim. Selection crop and variety is to be cultivated in a farm and the amount of area is allotted for a particular raising of field crop in multiple cropping systems. The relative claim for acreage of the competitive crop with the scheme should have one leguminous crop in year in its rotation for the maintain of soil fertility and other physical, chemical properties. Utilization of inputs and other resources available on the farm without wastage. Selection of crops as per the facilities available for power, irrigation, inputs, labor, transport and preparation of budget plan for each crop. Selection of season. The summer season, February to June. The Kharif, wet season, July to October. The Rabi, cool season, November to January. Crop rotation. The practice of growing different crops in succession on the same land chiefly to preserve the productive capacity of the soil. Example: maize, wheat, paddy, wheat, mung. Rotational intensity, Re. This is calculated by counting the number of crops grown in a rotation and is multiplied by 100 and then divided by the duration of the rotation. Cropping intensity, Chi, the ratio of total cropped area to net cultivated area which is multiplied by 100
Crop
and
planning and raising
of field crops in multiple
total
cropping
cropped
systems.
area.
Cropping
Aim.
intensity
Selection
percent crop and
equals
variety
times
is to be
100.
cultivated in a
Net
farm and the
cultivable
amount of
area.
area is
No
allotted for a
crop grown in
particular raising
rotation.
of field crop
Rotation
in multiple
intensity
cropping
percent
systems
equals times 100.
The relative claim for acreage
Duration
of the
competitive
rotation
crop
in a
with the
year.
scheme should
Multiple
have one
cropping
leguminous
index
crop in
year in
NCI.
its rotation
It
for the
measures the
maintain of
sum of
soil
areas
fertility
under
and other
various
crops raised in single year
chemical
divided by net
properties.
area available for the
Utilization of
cropping
inputs
pattern
and
and
other
other resources
resources
available on the farm without
Percentage.
wastage. It is generally calculated
Selection
for each cropping
crops
pattern
as per the
separately.
facilities available for
AI,
power,
N,
irrigation,
I equals
inputs,
1.
labor,
Multiple
transport
cropping
and
index
preparation of
equals
budget
times
plan
100.
for each crop.
Area.
Selection
Where
of
N equals
season.
total
The
number
summer
of
season,
crops.
February to
AI
June.
equals area
The
occupied
Kharif
by
wet
the season,
crop.
July to October. The Rabi, cool season, November to January. Crop rotation. The practice of growing different crops in succession on the same land chiefly to preserve the productive capacity of the soil. Example: maize, wheat, paddy, wheat, mung. Rotational intensity, Re. This is calculated by counting the number of crops grown in a rotation and is multiplied by 100 and then divided by the duration of the rotation. Cropping intensity, Chi, the ratio of total cropped area to net cultivated area which is multiplied by 100 and represent in percentage. Total cropped area. Cropping intensity percent equals times 100. Net cultivable area. No of crop grown in rotation. Rotation intensity percent equals times 100. Duration of the rotation in a year. Multiple cropping index, MCI. It measures the sum of areas under various crops raised in single year divided by net area available for that cropping pattern and expressed in percentage. It is generally calculated for each cropping pattern separately. AI. N. I equals 1. Multiple cropping index equals times 100. Area. Where N equals total number of crops. AI equals area occupied.